America, something remarkable is happening at our southern border, and the numbers are in, and they are stunning. Border Patrol apprehensions of special interest illegal aliens are down across the board. Mauritanians are down 99.8%. Who knew, right? I didn't even know what a Mauritanian was until Tom Homan brought it to our attention. We also have got the Chinese. Yes, Chinese are down 96%, or as President Trump likes to say, China. Then we have Syrians also down 85%. But what changed is the big question. Well, the president. For 4 years, the Biden administration told us the border crisis was a right-wing fantasy, while millions poured in. Now, with Trump back in the White House, the invasion is grinding to a halt. But the war isn't over. Border Patrol just had a standoff with armed cartel members in Arizona. Yes, Ben Bergquam was there. We're going to show you what happened. And shockingly, deep state ICE officials reportedly releasing illegals that Homeland Security captures. The question isn't whether Trump's policies work. The question is who's still fighting to keep the border open and why. So as President Trump secures our borders, Dr. Josh has discovered something just as revolutionary for pain sufferers. Border apprehensions are down 99.8% for Mauritanians, 96% for the Chinese nationals. But Dr. Josh's turmeric, his extract is 200 times more powerful than regular turmeric. And just as Trump's policies are stopping illegal crossings, this breakthrough stops pain at its source. While the administration enforces immigration laws, you can enforce a no-pain policy for your body. When Border Patrol confronts cartels, you're confronting inflammation. Experience the same dramatic results for your pain that Trump delivered at the border at goldenrevive.com/NNN. Now, we had boots on the ground today at the White House. There is Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt dropping big bombs at her impromptu gaggle to the press. Our own Tom McCullough on the scene capturing this moment.
Of the president.
Couple of questions, Caroline.
Happy Friday.
Can you give us a preview of the President's Justice Department speech?
Sure, I'd be happy to. As you know, the president will be heading there later this afternoon. The Attorney General will be there, as well as the FBI Director, Kash Patel. And the president is going to give a speech focused on restoring law and order to our country. In the last 4 years under the Biden administration, we unfortunately saw a Department of Justice that was weaponized against Americans for their political ideologies. It was not focused on fighting violent crime and restoring law and order and public safety. So the president will be talking about his intention to restore those very basic American values to our country. And he will also be there with fentanyl families and angel moms who have lost their children at the hands of illegal migrant criminals who the previous administration allowed into our country, and also, of course, to illegal Chinese fentanyl, which, as you all know, the president feels very strongly about cracking down on drug cartels, drug trafficking, and human trafficking as well. So you'll hear about all of that later this afternoon. I don't want to get ahead of the president any more than that.
Caroline.
I don't have anything on the president's schedule, but that could obviously always change. As you saw in his Truth Social this morning, he is putting pressure on President Putin and the Russians to do the right thing. Yesterday was a productive day for the United States of America and for the world in terms of peace. We have never been this close to peace. You saw the NATO Secretary General in the Oval Office yesterday. You were there with us, who said that only because of President Trump are we here on the verge of brokering a peace deal.
Caroline.
President talked to President Trump last night.
President
Trump talked to President Putin last night.
He did not, no. Steve Witkoff spoke to him yesterday in Moscow.
Has the president spoken with the new incoming Canadian Prime Minister at all this week? I know Mauritanians said they hadn't yet spoken, given everything that's going on between the United States and Canada. Have they spoken?
To my knowledge, they have not spoken. When they do, we can provide a little.
Do you have any updates?
Caroline.
Yeah, I believe it's still ongoing or en route when I came out here. But, the governor was here to talk about the pipeline that President Trump is very determined to get passed in the New England and New York area. And so That's as far as I know from conversations I can get an update on it.
John, are district court rulings about all the fired probationary workers use the same language here just now that was in the statement about fighting back against that ruling? Do you mean appealing or something else? And does the administration plan to comply with those orders in the meantime?
Fighting back by appealing, fighting back by using the full weight of the White House counsel's office and our lawyers in the federal government who believe that this injunction is entirely unconstitutional. And it is for anybody who has a basic understanding of the law. You cannot have a low-level district court judge filing an injunction to usurp the executive authority of the President of the United States. That is completely absurd. And as the executive of the executive branch, the President has the ability to fire or hire. And you have these lower level judges who are trying to block this president's agenda. It's very clear. And as I just cited, I was appalled by the statistic when I saw it this morning. In 1 month in February, there have been 15 injunctions of this administration in our agenda. In 3 years under the Biden administration, there were 14 injunctions. So it's very clear that there are judicial activists throughout our judicial branch who are trying to block this president's executive authority. We are going to fight back. And as anyone who saw President Trump and his legal team fighting back, they know how to do it. He was indicted nearly 200 times, and he's in the Oval Office now because all of the indictments, all of these injunctions have always been unconstitutional and unfair. They are led by partisan activists who are trying to usurp the will of this president, and we're not going to stand for it.
Can you preview these?
No more usurping the will of the president. Here's Colonel McGregor confirming Mexican cartels have U.S. missiles meant for Ukraine. What do you know?
That is, people in this country are damn well interested in what's happening on the Mexican border. And I just spent 3 days down there because they know that that is a cesspool of barbarism, savagery, criminality. And that's our existential threat. Not China, not Russia, not Iran, not anywhere. You pointed out the weapons going down there are serious. We talked to several people who are border patrolmen, also talked to some Texas Guard people, and said we just go 100 yards on the other side into Mexico, the Javelin missile systems that have found their way to Mexico.
Javelin missile system?
Yeah, we've got it. They've got those things over there.
From Ukraine?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, lovely. I remember we did a report about the missile systems that were uncovered several months back. And now here is a resurfacing of that, even more frightening, Javelin missile systems intended for Ukraine. Here we have, let's go to that action that took place on the border. This is the standoff between the Border Patrol and armed cartel in Arizona. Ben Bergquam saying this is war. Democrats were fighting for the wrong side. Thank God for President Trump and Tom Homan. Holy cow.
Up the hill. They're definitely going up the hill.
Bang, go. Hey, you want to bring your live view?
They're sending one guy down.
So got an opportunity. We saw Border Patrol hauling ass out here. Got up here and they're parked here. They went climbing up the hill, and I figure can't see them anymore. They're up and over the hill, but I figure may as well go join them if I can.
What time you got, John?
Seeing the agents are up top there. See them on the left?
Yeah.
So there's another guy. He's right. See him there? Oh, there. Now he's moving. Except for he didn't look.
So I just got up here to Fresno Mountain. The Border Patrol that were hauling ass out here got word there are armed scouts up on that mountain right there, cartel scouts. To show you, Sassabee is right there. The end of the wall is right below me. And as we speak, there are armed scouts up on top of the mountain. Joe Biden quit building the wall. If President Trump had been in office the last 4 years, this wall would have been complete. But it's not now. And the cartels exploit that. They use the fake asylum seekers to push more drugs and traffic more people. And now they're using these openings that Joe Biden left to push the rest of the drugs through. And they're really bad guys. I'm going to climb up here. Border Patrol's up on top of this rock. I'm going to climb up here. I'm going to stay out of their way just to try to get you a better shot of these guys, though. Roger. So, just to give you an update, I am in between Border Patrol. Let me go up there so you can get a better shot of it. There you are. Right there. So, Border Patrol's right there. He's watching my six. Look at other guys spotting the other guys. I'm up right by the monument, still in the United States. I got the Border Patrol on that side of the ridge. Mexican guys, they're armed. Looks like long guns, AKs. This is a war. Whether you want to believe it or not, this is a war. For the last 4 years, our government was fighting for the wrong team. It's time to take our country back. I'm gonna try to get a shot of these guys so you guys can see it. So they are right up. He's moving? Okay, so they say he's moving. Oh yeah, I see him. He's right there. He's right there. Right in the middle of your screen. There he goes. Yeah. If he comes this way, I'll move, guys. So they're right here. He's coming to the north side. He's kind of on the east side. Yeah, so he's coming kind of this way. I got video of him right now, though. He's about halfway down to the saddle. Yeah, if you got up to the red rocks and look to your right, he's coming down the side of that peak. He's got a backpack, full camo, long gun. Okay, well, I got good video of him right now. Okay. He's coming down to the red rocks. You're gonna see him. Yep. Okay, cool. Cool. And there may be more than one. That's the only one I have visual on right now. Just heads up. My vantage point looks like I can see 2, but it's hard to tell. I thought I was just climbing the mountain with the Border Patrol and left my binoculars down there. But this guy, this first one, went around. There's red rocks right there. So he went kind of in between that little saddle right there. And now he's going down the west side of the mountain. I believe there's a couple more. They were watching my 6. I'm at the top of this. It's about a 50-foot drop down there, so I don't want to back up too far. They're still watching the top of the mountain, but this just shows you guys. I just want to show you this vantage point. So that's Sassabee right there. That's the wall. This is Fresno Mountain. If you look here, look down here, there's no wall up and over here. It would have been completed if they hadn't stolen the election from President Trump. Now that President Trump's back in office, this wall will be completed. It goes out to where you can see up to those mountains and it stops. Same thing. It would have been completed to Nogales. It will be, but it's not now. So the cartels basically operate out there in these areas at the bottom of this opening here and right here. And the sense that you get is they're getting desperate. It's the same thing we saw in El Paso. These guys are testing the limits, but they're also going inland because they're getting attacked from within as well. So this whole area, I'm technically in America, but this is Mexico right here. If I step, that rock is Mexico. So I'm in between Border Patrol in Mexico and the cartel, and they've got apparently armed cartel members all over this mountain right now. They told me multiple. One's moved off to the west. They've been watching my 6. I'm going to get out of here because the sun is going down. It just shows you. This is how dangerous this is out here. And thank God for President Trump. Thank God for Tom Homan. But we need to understand this. These guys aren't just going to roll over. Joe Biden and the Democrats gave these guys $12 billion at minimum. That's a low estimate per year for the last 4 years. So they are armed up. They're ready to fight. And they're not going to go peacefully. That's why it's so critical that our military goes in and takes these guys out. Mexico's military goes in and takes these guys out, that we spend our resources on the war that's right here on our southern border. This is a war. Not only have we been losing it for the last 4 years, our government's been fighting for the other team. Now we're fighting for the right side. But it's going to be bloody. It's going to be ugly. And we need to let these guys do their job and take these guys out. And hold the traitors in America that are aiding and abetting these guys accountable. All right. Get down without getting shot. On behalf of the American people, thank you guys. Appreciate you. they're definitely going up the hill.
Ben Bergquam, dude, he is an American treasure, putting himself right there in the middle of the cartel war that's currently taking place between our Border Patrol and the cartels. As we reported a couple of weeks back, the green light was given for military intervention in Mexico to go after the cartels. And Tom Homan has said that they are not going to spare any expense to wipe these people off the map if they take aggressive action. Here is Tom Homan just 24 hours ago.
Officers, do you think local law enforcement has the resources to both cooperate with ICE and also conduct public safety for Americans that are committing crimes?
Yes.
Why?
Because they want public safety threats out of their community too, and they're willing to work with feds to make that happen. Every time I go in New York City, I don't think I've ever seen an NYPD officer didn't come shake my hand and thank me for what we're doing. They want to help. These officers, they don't get paid a lot of money, but they want to protect their community, and they know someone's here illegally, and they can help not only remove them from the community, remove them from the country, make the community safer. They're all in. And I don't think it takes a lot of, rather than arresting the same guy 5 times, arrest him once, give him an us. You don't arrest him anymore. I think it's going to relieve a lot of officers' time on the streets. And plus, we're talking about, again, I'm not asking the immigration officers. I'm talking about let us in your jail to arrest a bad guy in the jail. That way the PD's not dealing with him anymore when he goes out and recommits. So I think let's put it this way. I've never met a law enforcement officer that came to me and says he does not support the removal of criminal aliens. It makes our community safer, and that's what they're all about. That's why they wear that badge. That's why they took that oath.
And now we have more from the Rapid Response Team, Border Patrol Apprehensions of Special Interest Illegal Aliens, February 2024 versus 2025.
Illegal aliens from these. You might remember, this is what the border looked like 1 year ago. We had huge numbers of illegal aliens from these special interest countries in the Middle East and China who were being caught and released in front of our cameras virtually every single day. Well, those crossings have now largely dried up, and the year-to-year comparison really tells the story here. So take a look. In February 2024, Border Patrol apprehended 599 Mauritanians. This February, they apprehended only 1. That is a 99.8% decrease. Last February, Border Patrol apprehended 3,507 Chinese. This February, they apprehended just 130. That's a 96% decrease. Syrians went from 27 apprehensions to just 4. That's down 85%. Turkish down 82%, Pakistanis down 61%, and Afghans down 55%. Gotaways have also completely fallen off a cliff since Trump took office. CBP sources tell us over the last 21 days, there have been an average of just 77 gotaways per day nationwide. That's down 95.8% from the Biden highs of fiscal year 2023. That's when there were a staggering 1,830 gotaways on average every single day. President Trump says his administration is now hunting down those gotaways.
We're after many, many bad people that were let into our country. You see they're taking them out in record numbers. Gang members, gang leaders, drug dealers.
And Dana, on Monday, we reported that DHS launched a new self-deportation app for illegal immigrants. Well, DHS tells me they've already had more than 300 people register on that new app to deport themselves.
That's just not enough, though. I'll say that. And what else have we got here? Here is Ben Bergquam now talking about the ICE releasing illegal aliens at home and arrested. Holy cow.
We're releasing.
I've got some additional news since we spoke last.
Okay, let's take it first. We're releasing illegals that Tom Homan's ICE agents arrested. I think anybody's jaw is going to drop at the news of this.
Yeah, and apparently, and it's not just San Diego, got word from Phoenix, got word from multiple different offices across America. There's 2 branches of ICE. You've got HSI, the investigative side of it, and then you've got ERO, the removal side of it. And apparently there are some deep state holdovers, Biden holdovers on the ERO side that are either refusing to process the people that HSI captures or slow walking it or just making the claim they don't have bed space, which is why I'm out here. I'll talk about this in just a minute. This is a Border Patrol soft side right outside of El Paso, Texas. But apparently, many of these ERO offices are either refusing to or dragging their feet on it. And they actually released several of the people in that first operation that Tom Homan kicked off on that first Sunday. Many of those people were actually released by ERO. I'm getting that word.
All right, real quick on this. One, tell us what ERO is, and two, Tom Homan has to be steaming mad about this.
Yeah, enforcement removal operation. So that's the removal arm of the Homeland Security ICE. So they're the ones that actually are tasked with taking them once the illegals are captured, taking them through the process, taking them back to a judge, having that judge sign off on it. And this is the other problem. Also speaking to HSI, many of these attorneys' offices that are overseeing it, they are also trying to block many of these deportations. You have activist judges in places that are trying to block even Tren de Aragua, the worst of the worst. Some of these guys are being blocked from being removed by activist judges as well. So we've got every level of government is in opposition. We've got opposition actors against President Trump and Tom Homan. And yes, to answer the question, no doubt Tom Homan is pissed, and they are working through it as we speak. These guys are, and you see what Kash Patel's already doing. They're not messing around. If you're blocking them, they're coming after you with the full force of the law.
Amen. And it is going to happen, and it needs to happen. Tom Homan calmly eats an apple near enraged pro-illegal immigration protesters. I mean, did you notice how many white knights were in that audience? A lot of suburban Karens. Like, what are they fighting for? Really, seriously. Let's hear what J.D. Vance has got to say about green card holders.
America, right? A green card holder, even if I might like that green card holder, doesn't have an indefinite right to be in the United States of America, right? American citizens have different rights from people who have green cards, from people who have student visas. And so my attitude on this is this is not fundamentally about free speech. And to me, yes, it's about national security, but it's also more importantly about who do we, as an American public, decide gets to join our national community? And if the Secretary of State and the President decide this person shouldn't be in America and they have no legal right to stay here, it's as simple as that.
Do you see more such deportations happening?
I think we'll certainly see some people who get deported on student visas if we determine that it's not in the best interest of the United States to have them in our country. So yeah, I don't know how high that number is going to be, but you're going to see more people. A green card holder.
Yeah, I want to see more and more and more. If they are here and they are supporting the enemy, then they got to go. Here's Kayleigh McEnany.
Can't be real. Look at this headline. I couldn't believe it. I texted it around. I was like, this can't be real. This happened in the middle of the Biden administration. This is NBC News this morning. Immigration accounted for all, look at that, all U.S. population growth in 2022 to 23, the first time since 1850. So you had the entirety of the increase of the U.S. population coming from immigration, most of it illegal, rather than live births of U.S. citizens. That's stunning. And this as they're cooking the numbers. Bill Maloogian, though, sent some real numbers, and I love it. He gives all this data. I just have so much fun on my calculator. He just sent out some new data that gotaways are down to about 77 a day. That is down from 1,080. There you go, 1,830. Amazing number. And the numbers you put up, Emily, I did some back of the envelope math. If you look at the percentage of criminals that are being arrested, because everyone's like, you know, we don't want to get non-criminals, that's our focus. 73.4% of those arrested have been criminals or those with a criminal charge, more than 1,000 gang members. Think about all the lives saved from fentanyl, all the Lake and Rileys out there whose lives might have been saved because this administration's taking it seriously.
So the establishment told us for years that strong borders were impossible. There's nothing we could do, they said. It's a complex humanitarian issue. Now we know it was all a lie. All it took was a president willing to enforce our laws. It took a president who loves America more than he loves the global financial system that profits from cheap labor. The results are indisputable. Border crossings collapsing by 60, 70, even 99% in some categories. But here's what you should be worried about. NBC reported that for the first time since 1850, all U.S. population growth came from immigration instead of births. This isn't just about illegal immigration. It's about the future of our country. So I have to ask, if our nation's entire population growth now depends on importing people, what happens to American culture, American values, and the American way of life? Stand for secure borders with our next news merch, link below in the merch shop.